After 5 years of war, they finally struck a deal to bring peace. Sworn enemies were at last smiling at each other.
We must be honest and admit that the internal war we as Southerners, as South Sudanese, are engaged in for the last 5 years is definitely senseless.
But has this agreement been enough to end the atrocities in South Sudan? According to the United Nations, no. And the abuses are still being carried out. Back in September, one of the rebel leaders refused to sign the peace deal. Thomas Carrillo was once a general in South Sudan's military, but he defected in 2017. His group of rebels still carry out attacks. The UN says large numbers of women and girls have been raped.
Victims and witnesses describe how the SPLA and aligned forces would storm into villages in the early morning around dawn, surround the village, and start shooting at fleeing civilians. The attackers would then steal cattle, loot entire households, and burn down houses and food stocks.
Experts warn that the peace deal is in danger of collapsing. South Sudan broke away from Sudan in 2011. But after decades of fighting for independence, the people of South Sudan turned their guns on themselves. In 2013, President Salva Kiir fired his deputy, Riek Machar. Fighting broke out between the forces loyal to both men. But what began as political violence soon developed into a conflict between tribes. Kiir belongs to the Dinka, and his rival Machar is from the Nuer. A recent report by the US State Department says nearly 385,000 people have now been killed in the civil war, and around 4 million have been driven from their homes. Both sides are accused of committing mass murder, rape, and arson. It's one of the world's most serious humanitarian crises, yet receives little international attention. As part of the peace deal, Riek Machar will return from exile as South Sudan's vice president. But after 5 years of a war between rival communities, will this help to calm the hostilities? Hyder Abbasi, The Newsmakers.